Huge support, as you might expect, for a Nations Cup in North Africa for Tunisia, and now Uganda's national anthem. The Uganda flag flying high as the Cranes return to the top table of African football. Led by skipper Khalid Aucho. His opposite counterpart tonight, Fejani Sassi. As we see the Tunisia lineup, some familiar figures from the team that played in the 2022 World Cup. Daman having kept goal for the Carthage Eagles then, and the likes of Abdi, Taubi and Ebron having appeared as well. Hannibal Mejbri will try to keep things tight in the middle of the park with Skiri alongside him. And they'll be relying for goals from the likes of Hazem Mastouri and Elias Achuri. So confirmation of the referee today, Mebiam, accompanied by assistants from Gabon. And their VAR team today, Pierre Guillain Acho, also from Gabon. An experienced official on the continent. Well, Uganda, what a moment it is for them. They were quarter-finalists on their last appearance in 2019. Obita, John Obita at the heart of the defence. Well, he's normally accompanied by Elio Capradossi, but Capradossi doesn't even make the matchday squad today. Rogers Matto worth keeping an eye on. He's been in good form for his club in Macedonia. And Stephen Makwala will hopefully also chip in with the goals, and keep an eye out for the man wearing number 27, Lorenzo Melvin, who could prove something of a surprise package tonight for Uganda. 31 years of age, winning just his 4th cap. His first came way back in 2016. There he is, Melvin. He's a man who's got Bundesliga experience as well, and played in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands, but very, very few Uganda caps. How will he do tonight? So we are underway. Tunisia playing from right to left, all in white, kicking us off. Uganda, all in red. From left to right as the rain teams down, and well, some good early possession here for Tunisia. Ali Abdi making good ground down the left-hand side. Mejbri swings it in deep. And this will come as far as Jan Valery. Plays his football with Sheffield Wednesday in England. Well, Tunisia are making their 22nd visit to the Afcon and taking the field tonight. They are continuing their remarkable record in the competition, qualifying time and again, a record-extending 17th straight appearance in the tournament, present at every tournament since 1994. Despite such consistency, success has been relatively elusive. Just one semi-final appearance since winning the trophy in 2004 on home soil, which they achieved against Morocco, hosts this time around. And they got to the semis in 2019. Did the Carthage Eagles. They made it here this time around, finishing second in their group behind Comoros, the surprise package. The Gambia and Madagascar finishing third and bottom of the group. And while their Afcon qualification campaign may have been not that impressive, well, their World Cup form this year has been anything but for Tunisia. Absolutely blew their opponents away in reaching next year's World Cup, as they make some good ground down the right-hand side, but that's well cut out by Aziz Kayondo. The whistles are deafening as the Cranes get a rare touch on the ball. Well, as for Uganda, their 8th visit to the tournament and their first, as said, since Egypt in 2019. They also finished second in their group, just a point behind South Africa, who took third place at the last Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast last year. A little bit of space here inside the area. Is there a chance for a shot? There is. Well, it was Sassi who had it, but straight at Salim Magula in the Uganda goal. But a promising opening very early on for the Tunisians. Had time and space, just couldn't get the angle that he would have wanted, Sassi. As said, Uganda finishing just a point behind South Africa in qualifying. Congo, Brazzaville and South Sudan effective also rounds in the group. But South Africa, a very impressive side in African football in recent times, reaching the World Cup under coach Hugo Bruce, the man who took Cameroon to the title in 2017, and as said, a team that finished third in the tournament last year. Well, it is a steady stream of rain that you may be able to hear. Many of the Tunisia side based in Europe. And a fair few of the Cranes team as well. Nicely played down the right-hand side. Valerie can play it into the middle. Important header away. John Abita it was who got it clear. As Tunisia showing good intent in these early stages. Ali Abdi into Mejbri. Drop of the shoulder from the Burnley man. Outside of the boot, into the middle it goes. And he cannot guide that on target, but a thumbs up from Hazem Mastouri. And some nice play from Tunisia. Inventive stuff, really good from Mejbri. Just needed a little bit more of a delicate touch from Mastouri. Not the easiest chance, admittedly. But 2 efforts on goal in the first 6 minutes, and they're coming forward again, Tunisia. A little dink over. Mejbri again just muscled off it by Jude Semugabi. And Uganda, well, they just need to get their foot on the ball in these opening minutes and just quell this early traffic going in one direction towards their goal. Toby Civic with a throw back into Rogers Torres. Abita. Kayondo, and it's going to be some night for these Uganda players. I'm sure they were expecting a little bit of hostility, but perhaps not the deafening din that they are being subjected to every time they get on the ball. Drop of the shoulder from Elias Saad. Mejbri. Just 22 years of age, Mejbri, but winning his 40th cap today. The former Manchester United man. Saad. Spreading the play, but just too hard and too high for Elias Achuri. The striker based in Denmark with FC Copenhagen. There's Mato, who Uganda will very much be looking forward for, or two for goals today. Montassin Tabi just into Dylan Broad. It's certainly a nice passing surface, and they're making the most of it in these early stages. Tunisia, ball into the middle. Well, Tunisia wanting more. There's just a corner for now, as you can see. Claims of handball. Abita, well, he was slipping and falling. It seemed to come off the side of his chest. And this will, of course, be checked by VAR. And the whistles clearly indicating the displeasure of the Tunisian supporters. But on first glance, there didn't seem too much wrong with that. Mejbri with the delivery. Outswinger into space. And into the back of the net as well. Well, what a start from the Tunisians. Elias Skiri leaping high and heading home. And sending the hordes of Carthage Eagles and Tunisia supporters into raptures all around this stadium. They applied the pressure early on at Tunisia. And they have got their breakthrough as well. Like a boxer coming out with the big punches early on, they have done some damage. And Uganda, who sometimes find goals hard to come by, have got to find their way back into this game. Two players unmarked at the far post. Routine stuff. But Skiri did really well just to guide that inside the post. Salim, well beaten. And he got over it well, the Eintracht Frankfurt man. And despite the efforts of Kayondo on the line, Tunisia lead by a goal to nil. And a dream start for them, and they really seem to be enjoying themselves on this wet surface, and they're coming forward again here. Salim comes together. Well, unsurprisingly, it is the Tunisian supporters you can hear singing. Their flag being waved all around. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how they get on this tournament. As said, regularly they qualify, just as they often do for the World Cup as well. But in truth, they often underwhelm at the major tournaments. And it was a point made by their coach, Sami Trabelsi, the former defender, in the run-up to this tournament, saying it is high time we translate our consistency into tangible success. Or can they keep this up? They've taken it quickly, but the referee unhappy, and they'll have to come back again. Mejbri in a hurry, just like his colleagues. Ali Abdi, wearing number 2, also standing over it there. Skiri, the goal scorer. Can they threaten again? Mejbri goes deep again, and Skiri in space once more. On this occasion, he cannot get any contact, the 30-year-old. Well, once again, questions have to be asked as to where the Ugandan markers were. Let Skiri run free. You would have thought, given what happened just over 3 minutes ago, that they might want to get a little bit tighter. A first foray forward for the Cranes. What can they do with it? Semu Gabi, into the middle it goes. Still not fully clear, and well, in the end, it's Abdi who just hacks it away. And the referee reaching for his notebook and issuing the first yellow of the game, to the dismay of Aziz Kayondo, the Uganda left-back. No stranger to the referee's notebook, and, well, I wonder, from that angle, it doesn't look as bad as the previous one, but Kayondo has been sent off for his club, Slovan Liberec, in the Czech Republic already this season. A regular there. And he's now got to play nearly 80 minutes on a yellow card. Well, Mastouri, the man down, and I think you can see a Tunisian player there indicating that that was an elbow from Kayondo, and possibly wanting a little bit more than just the yellow. Well, I was talking about the Africa Cup of Nations qualifying campaign for Tunisia, which was pretty underwhelming, and contrasting it with their World Cup displays they played 10 qualifiers in the World Cup. They won 9, drew 1, scored 22 and conceded none. And that is now what Uganda are up against as they play it into the middle again. Cleared but not fully away, Sassi. And Sassi unable to win the corner, and it will be a goal kick to Uganda. Kayondo just nicking it off the Tunisia skipper. Sassi again. Ayman Damen, one of 4 goalkeepers in the Tunisia squad. The free kick goes Tunisia's way. Mastouri, the player fouled, and Aucho protesting his innocence, the 32-year-old skipper for Uganda.
Wao walikuwa ni Dinamo Makashkala. Sasa hii Dinamo Makashkala ndipo anapocheza striker kiongozi wa Tunisia, Hazem Mastouri.
Well, you never quite know what you're going to get with Tunisia, because despite that impressive World Cup qualifying campaign, they went to the Arrow Cup earlier this month, and once again they were not at their best, failing to get out of the group stage when facing the likes of Syria, Palestine and Qatar. And yet that poor display all came off the back of a highly creditable 1-1 draw with Brazil last month in a friendly.
Alice Khairi, Jalen Brown.
Saad just nudged over fairly by Sibic, according to the referee, and Uganda coming forward. Stephen Makwala back into Sibic. Melvin trying to get on the end of that and just unable to do so. They need something to hold on to into this game. Kenneth Semakula gets it back, the man based in the second tier in Saudi Arabia. Well, there's a huge gap in midfield in the centre of the pitch for Uganda. That's a pretty forceful shove by Bron. Swiftly penalised by the Gabonese referee. And taken quickly by Aucho. I used a boxing analogy earlier, and so far Uganda yet to lay a glove really on their opponents. They have only ever won 1 game at the Nations Cup outside of their run to the final in 1978. Uganda, and that was last time around in 2019 when they beat the Democratic Republic of Congo in their opening game. 2-0 in Cairo it ended. But that was that. What can they do this time around? Matches against Nigeria and against Tanzania to follow, and you have to believe that Uganda will be looking to that game against Tanzania on Saturday to pick up the points that they need. Often just one win in the group stage is enough, with the third placed, or the third best placed third place sides going through, excuse me, where you can see just what the conditions are like there from the slide from Melvin. Plays his football in Thailand, the 31-year-old. Really has had a pretty remarkable career. Born in London, played for Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga from 2013, 2016. Scoring there as well. Then had a couple of seasons with Den Haag in the Eredivisie, but nonetheless, only 3 caps for Uganda before tonight. Returning to the side last month. Oh, the referee decided that was a foul just as Uganda thought they might be getting away. Shake of the head from Stephen Makwala, based in Tanzania, where he plays for Simba, one of the 2 giants there, alongside Young Africans or Yanga. He'll be hugely invested in that game against Tanzania here in Rabat on Saturday. Well, after the high intensity opening, things just calming down a little for the Tunisians. Slight lifting off the pedal for the North Africans. Semugabi. Abdi. Skiri. The ball just slowing up a little bit with the rain. Another push by Bron. Ali Abdi. Long from Talbi. And too heavy for the man based in France with Lorient. Well, you got a feel for them, but those of a Tunisian persuasion may well be happy enough. Semugabi has just indications of puddles beginning to form on the pitch and holding up the play. Uganda just getting on with it. Aucho. Semakula back into Obita. Cut out, and Sassi tries to get Tunisia on the move again. Masturi. Skiri, nicely played from him. And a bit of space for Masturi, but cut out by Semakula. Kayondo. Bit of space. No, that's much better from Uganda. They made the ground up nicely. Good passing stuff and just beginning possibly to find their groove. Rogers Mato. Semakula. And a lot of space. Torash. Torash again. Semakula. They've got their foot on the ball for once, Uganda. Well, as I say that, they spray one wide and lose possession. Mato. Semakula into Torash, the only member of the starting lineup based in Uganda. He plays for local side Vipers. And Ali Abdi just shrugging off Melvin. Sassy. Ushering Valerie forward. And the 26-year-old gets on his bike and starts motoring up the right-hand side. Trying to play it inside and does find it into Sassy. Tees it up for Mejbri. Mejbri cannot keep it inside the far post. But that was the ball that really opened things up for Tunisia. And then just the body angle was a little bit wrong for Mejbri. Perhaps it would have been better have been going for the bottom right-hand corner. Instead he aimed for the left. Just the one goal in his 39 previous appearances for Mejbri. But he looks in the mood tonight. Well, Semakula is being given a lot of space by the Tunisians. It's about what he does with the ball. Melvin. Well, Tunisia in Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast last time around ended up bottom of their group. They lost their opener to Namibia in what was a major shock. Dean Hotto with a very late goal. And then they were unable to beat either Mali or South Africa. Going out at the first time of asking in the campaign before. And they made it as far as the quarterfinals. Their run ended by Burkina Faso having seen off Nigeria in the round of 16. Yusuf Sakni, who is not part of the squad this time around. Sakni having played in a joint record 8 Africa Cup of Nations. A mainstay of the Tunisian side in recent times. But prior to that group stage exit, they'd always at least reached the quarterfinals, Tunisia. Semugabi plays his football in South Sudan. Masturi trying to open it up, but Ashuri sandwiched by 2 Ugandan players. Well, he went down as if hit by a missile. Let's have a look at this from Kayondo. Well, a gentle tug from Sassy. And the theatrics from the 23-year-old left-back for Uganda. Either way, the referee happy an infringement was committed. And this is a chance for Uganda to find a way back into the game. Daman organising his defence, the CS faction goalkeeper. Melvin with the delivery. Can he find a player in red? Low and hard, well, not like that, he won't. Disappointing ball in from Melvin Lorenzen. Matto trying to find his way past three, unable to do so. Skiri's header from that corner. Still the major moment in this game. Uganda yet to force Ayman Damen into a save. Mastoria's down again. He's the man who scored the goal against Brazil last month, the 28-year-old, based in Russia with FC Makashkala. And caught by Kayondo high on the thigh. And he's got to be careful, Aziz Kayondo, having picked up that yellow card earlier in the game. Well, he's been left alone twice, Skiri, and he's in a ocean of space again on this near side. He's out of picture, about 10 yards to the left of the furthest Ugandan player, Skiri. There he is. Here's Mejbri aiming for him again. Good ball into the middle. Matto with a really important defensive clearance. Excellent delivery from Mejbri. Asking questions of the Uganda back line that they answered on this occasion. Aucho, unhappy. The most capped player in the squad apart from Dennis Onyango, the veteran goalkeeper for Uganda, who has been recalled to the side at the age of 40 after a 4-year absence. Hugely experienced figure for Uganda and in African club football, having won the Champions League with Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa a few years ago. And even if he doesn't get on, I'm sure Onyango will bring considerable nous and advice to the Uganda dressing room. So too, of course, the Uganda coach Paul Putt, who took Burkina Faso to the final of the Nations Cup in 2013 against the odds. The Belgian having revitalised Ugandan football after a little period in the wilderness, and at the right time too, because in 2 years' time, Uganda will be co-hosting the Africa Cup of Nations along with Kenya and Tanzania. And so this tournament is the perfect preparation for them. Ahead of that tournament, they want, of course, to be competitive, just as Kenya and Tanzania do, but Kenya not here this time around. Aucho. Abdi. Mejbri happy to go back to Damen. Saad. Nicely linking up with Mejbri. Abdi, seemingly more alert than the Ugandans around him, but unable to find a colleague in white. Sad again. Well, no infringement, according to the referee. To the displeasure of the Tunisian supporters. That's a lovely turn. Rogers Matto. Oh, the whistles will become even louder if Uganda could convert here, but Bron cuts out that attempted cross. And then gets it away as well, that Switzerland-based man. There's Sami Chebelsi. Played at 4 Africa Cup of Nations tournaments, including in 1996 in the final in South Africa when Bafana so memorably lifted the title. Into the middle it goes. And cut out and hacked high into the Rabat sky. Anywhere will do time, but Simic was in behind, which Uganda have seldom been in this opening period. No, Chebelsi doesn't just play in 4 Nations Cups. He's also previously coached Tunisia at 2 in 2012 and 2013. Really good defending there from Skiri. A little nutmeg from Simic. In 2012, they reached the quarterfinals under Chebelsi. In 2013, they went out in the group stage. But the 57-year-old says he's coming to this tournament with far more experience and ambition. In between his 2 roles with Tunisia, i.e. from 2013, and then taking charge again in February earlier this year. He spent 10 years managing 1 club in Qatar, which is pretty rare. That's loose at the back. Saad can pick this up. Gifted and given away by Salim Magula in the Uganda goal. Sassi. Mejbri into Skiri. Space on the right-hand side. And he does go right. Into Valerie. Talbi. Mejbri. Well, this is better from Tunisia. Saad. Likely needs support, and he's got Mejbri behind him. Here he is. Mejbri thinking about the strike, playing it wide. Valerie with the strike for Tunisia. Back into Mejbri. Sassi. Well, it's pinball in the Ugandan penalty area, but Tunisia still have it, still threatening. Ashuri into Masturi, who cannot control it. Salim happily gathers, but then launches it long, and they give it away again. Saad, drop of the shoulder. Good defensive tackle from Aucho. That's nice from Abdi. Space indeed. Oh, that is absolutely stunning. As Tunisia double their lead. Oh, what a way to do it. Sweet as you like. Elias Ashuri with a goal he will never forget. The roar was deafening inside the arena. And that was picture book stuff from the Carthage Eagles. And they are 2 goals to the good, and it all came from Salim's ball forward, which just came straight back to them. This was nice from Saad. Aucho thought he had done enough, but then Abdi did really well. And look at that for both a cross and a finish. Measured both of them. Controlled side-footed volley. A moment to savour for Ashuri. And a comfortable 2-0 lead for the 2004 African champions. Well, he's not going to forget that in a hurry, the 26-year-old. Makwala trying to give Uganda something of a lifeline before the break, but they have struggled to get anything past the central defenders. That's a little bit of pushing and shoving. Nicely played by Sibic. Well, he's got down the right-hand flank to good effect. Sibic, who plays his football in the third tier of English football with Burton Albion. But he's got to get back now. Space again. Tunisia looking for a third and looking to run riot. Saad strikes a goal but cannot keep it down. And you can see from his reaction that he knows he should have done. Did everything right up to the strike. Just could not keep it down, the 25-year-old. But Tunisia almost putting this game to bed in the driving rain before the break. Long towards Makwala. Bron will cut it out. Rogers Matto. Sibic again. Well, they'd be very happy just to get in formation, get in their structure. Tunisia, as Uganda come forward, confident that they can snuff out danger, and so far that's exactly what they've done. Valerie. Tunisia ending the half as they began it with real intensity and purpose. Well, Matto has switched flanks. The 22-year-old. Melvin has also come over to this near side, as Uganda just trying to change it up in a bid to find some change out of Tunisia. Heavy touch from Makwala. Sassi. Sad. Here is Matto. Matto from distance. And Matto unable to test Darman in goal. He can score goals from distance. He netted an outrageous strike against South Africa in qualifying in the game in Johannesburg. In the qualifying period between September and November last year, did Matto. He was just a few yards past the centre circle. A blistering strike, which admittedly the South Africa goalkeeper could have done better with, but it was still some hit from 40 yards or so. He's got 12 goals in 13 league games as well in Macedonia this season. Matto, the man who scored late there. And they need him to deliver here. Mejbri just sportingly going over to see if he's okay. Matto in behind. Matto onto his left foot. Striker goal. Oh, that is an outstanding piece of defending from Dylan Bron. Getting his head in the way. Onto a powerful strike from Matto. Oh, look at that. That's what you want to see from your defenders. And that's the sort of commitment that Tunisia fans want to see as well. There'll be 2 minutes of additional time at the end of this opening period. Is there time enough for Uganda to pull one back? Kayondo will swing this in. Up it goes. But headed away by the defence, and Ashuri losing out, but because he was fouled according to the Gabonese official. And Tunisia will take their time. At the end of a half that they will be very happy with. They have just won one of their last 6 Nations Cup matches. But they are looking very, very good and likely to add to that. Well, Abdi didn't get that right. Corner, will there be time to take it? Just about. Gets forward to really good effect down the left flank. Ali Abdi, who plays his football in the French top flight with Nice. Mejbri needs to get a move on. He's applauding the Tunisian fans, who are sending the love back in his direction. Into the middle it goes, and another corner. Well, we're past the 2 minutes, but play goes on. Mejbri again. Can they get added gloss on what has been a near perfect first half for Tunisia? Well, they can't, because the referee puts his whistle to his lips to bring the first half to a close. Opening 45 that saw Tunisia blow Uganda away. A blistering opening start was rewarded just 10 minutes in, when Elias Skiri headed home from a corner. Then they took their foot off the gas a little bit, Tunisia, but 5 minutes before the break, Elias Ashuri scored a superb goal on the volley from Ali Abdi's measured, clipped cross to ensure that Tunisia go in 2 goals to the good at half-time, and looking very good to take all 3 points at half-time in this Group C encounter in Rabat. It is Tunisia 2, Uganda 0.
Here, we're known for our sense of service. It's all about finding ways to support you. Day after day, doing everything we can to be useful and providing energy in all its forms. Everywhere, every time, all across the continent.
Excited.
This is halftime statistic for Uganda and Tunisia. It is not what we expected for Uganda to be down by a margin of 2-0. But at the end of the day, this is it, and that was what happened in the first half. My dear, don't worry, Peter. It's just a beginning. Uganda will come back. We'll come back. Despite being behind by 2 goals nil, but in the ball possession, Uganda are on top.
Yeah.
So What is not going in the right direction for Uganda?
Well, I think there is no connection between the attack and the midfield. Totally no connection. Yeah. Melvin has been up there waiting for supply. There is no supply. Jutse Mugabe is supposed to be operating very well on that wing on the right. No runs from him. Mato operating from the left-hand side. We have not seen much from him. The midfield has been a little bit porous because Tunisia has actually dominated it. Yeah. You know, they have held onto the ball. They have won 50-50 challenges. They've stolen the ball. Uganda tried as much as possible to come back through, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. So for me, I'm a little bit disappointed with the result, and I'm also disappointed with the play. If the result was 2-0, but Uganda had chances, I would say, yeah, they tried. Yeah. But no, they have not.
Okay, on your point of view, Haji, we had what Peter Otai give us a thought on the way he saw Uganda in the first 45 minutes. But we've seen them, as we said, dominating ball possession, less shot on goal, and things like that. So where the connection is not right for Uganda, and how did they allow such a goal or 2 goals?
First of all, you see how clinical Tunisia is. So they've had 7 shots, of which out of the 7 shots, 4 are on target, 3 are on target, and out of the 3 on targets, 2 are goals. Yeah. So that's how clinical they are. Where Uganda have had 4 shots and none on target. Yeah. But again, you see poor marking from...
Can you stop and tell me about this goal? Because Otai was worried about the form of the goalkeeper, and he does a lot of mistakes. Yeah. But is this keeper effort? He could have done better?
He should have done better. He should have done better. His positioning was very poor on that one. Yeah. Even the second goal, his positioning was poor. This is the second goal. Yeah. Ball is stolen from the mid there on the half of Tunisia. Then here goes I think here goes the cross coming through very shortly. Okay, let's watch this very, very close. They still pounce on really well. There's the cross. Look at the positioning of the keeper again. But it was way out of his line.
Yeah. When you look at it, there was a clearance by Khalid Aucho. And when he made a clearance, somebody on the left-hand side,
Aziz Kayondo,
he didn't guard. The guy was open.
He was supposed to throw his body on the line of fire. That's the problem. He was moving away from the ball, not moving to the ball. Yeah. And maybe the goalkeeper thought that maybe he had it covered. But all in all, he wasn't on the line. He had moved away a couple of yards away. There was no way he would stop that. It's just like the goal we saw yesterday. Yeah. You know, difficult. When you move away from your line, it's difficult for you to make some saves.
Haji.
Yes.
What could have been done better to stop that goal?
Again, it's marking. A player being left into the box on his own to do a tap-in as such, that shows poor awareness from the Ugandans' side of it. But also, they allow from that distribution from the keeper and then turnover of the possession. Again, Uganda should have come tight, close on Tunisia to penetrate and defy them away.
But you possess ball, and you don't have shot and goal. Even I've seen Dese Mukwala struggling, going up, coming down, no service for him.
Totally no. That's what I was saying. There is no connection between the midfield and the attack. They're totally out. Dese is actually being forced to come back and collect the ball. You know, he's supposed to be there waiting. Mabin on many times, he has also been forced to come back to collect the ball. So the people that are supposed to be making the runs, Mato and Jutse Mugabe, are not making their runs. Then in the midfield, you have Khalid Aucho together with Kenneth Semakula, who are slightly slow. So the transition of play is not picking up really well.
So what has Tunisia done well to dominate the game in the first 45 minutes?
Again, to be very compact. You could see Uganda, whenever they try to go forward, they'll find a very solid structure, and then they'll go back, try to redistribute again, try to pass the other flank, come again, find another very well-structured defense of Tunisia. Hence why Uganda have a good portion of defense of possession, is because Tunisia, there were no rush. The organization was brilliant. They sat in a very comfortable position, rest defense, where you're okay allowing the opposition to dominate the ball, to have the possession, and then you wait on your transitions, and you have seen how quick the Tunisia are.
Has Uganda show an intent on attacking, or they just defensive?
No, we showed a little bit. That's, I think, where they got the little ball possession. They tried a little bit. Mato came to life. Mavin came to life. I love the way Obita is handling in the back zone there together with Atorach. They have tried as much as push the ball in front to the side of the Tunisians for a few chances that actually gave them, the out of ball play.
Yeah.
But all in all, the coach has to do a lot of changes and a lot of talking. This is not the actual Ugandan side that we know. There is no one who is actually holding onto the ball. There is no one who can drive the ball to the half of the Tunisians, invite the players to collect. No one. All those players are in the bench right now. There is Alan Okello, and then there's Travis Mutiaba. So you need Travis Mutiaba in play and Alan Okello, the mastermind of play. Otherwise, if it remains the way it is right now, I think we are in for another 1 or 2 goals in the second half.
Do you see the Tunisian coach push for another goal, or they keep his team in a pace, not to allow another goal or something?
Of course, definitely. I think he's gonna go push for another goal. I would have done so if Uganda is allowing to get goals. I'll go get goals because they know, again, meeting the next opponent is going to be a very difficult game. Sometimes these fixtures are decided by goal difference. So if your opponent is lacking, is giving you goals, then why not go for them?
2 goals down until now, and we have another 45 minutes. What Uganda can do to overturn the result?
Right now, like you said, they are 2 goals down. They have to put everything in the out of the basket in front of play there, so that they try as much as possible to close the gap. Because, on the other side, Tanzania was beaten by just 2 goals to 1. Now you have to play catch up. You need to throw everything in game. Now it's a game of chase. You have to put your points out and try and risk, of course, maybe the queen or one other night, just in order to get your team back in play. Substitutions have to be made. Either you bring in Travis Mutiaba or Alan Okello, or a ball carrier like maybe Regan Impande. Otherwise, it's trouble, real trouble.
Otherwise, it's trouble, really trouble. If Ugandan coach will not do substitution, something bad will continue happening to Uganda. Let's go for the commercial. We'll be back.
Here, we're known for our sense of service. It's all about finding ways to support you. Day after day, doing everything we can to be useful and providing energy in all its forms. Everywhere, every time, all across the continent.
Power your moment. Techno, the global partner of Afcon 2025.
Maybe it all starts here to end up there. Sure, for us, it rather starts here and finishes over there. But it also goes through here, doesn't it? But whether it's here or there, behind your screen, in the stands, or on the pitch, Orange is here, proudly supporting African football for over 15 years.
These jerseys aren't 100% polyester. They are 30% lessons learned the hard way, 50% hope, turning threads into memories, 20% triumphs dreamed and prayed for. This is Africa, 100% made of us.
Okay, as you can see, some young fans are enjoying what's happening back home, and you can see the Tunisia fans celebrating. Sometimes it's not all about celebrating, but when it's raining, you need to warm up your body, and that's it. Yeah. So now, how important are the first 10 minutes for the both teams? starting with Tunisia?
Tunisia, first 10 minutes, if they can avoid Uganda from scoring a goal, then they will actually have themselves a win today. That's something very, very important. They have to keep their mind in and also try and see if they can go and look for a kill. Because a third goal for the Tunisians will totally have finished this game. It will be done and dusted. There will be no way that Uganda can come back from 3 goals down against a Tunisian side that has totally outplayed them here.
And for Uganda, Haji, the first 10 minutes in a second half.
The first 10 minutes, I think Uganda should concentrate on keeping possession, keeping control of the game. As he said, if you lose that game in the first 10 minutes, you're totally destroyed and you lose the game. So again, still 45 minutes, they can still squeeze in to get a goal, and they shouldn't try to do that in the first 10 minutes.
Realistically,
yeah.
Is there any chance for Uganda to come back in the second half or even scoring a goal?
Scoring a goal they can. Coming back, I am not sure. Against a Tunisian side, coming back, I'm not sure. But scoring a goal, they can. Yeah. And also, all that depends on if the coach will make the right decisions of substitution. Otherwise, if we have the same kind of players throughout, there's no coming back from that.
If Tunisia go through with a win in this game, what can you tell about the ambition of this game?
I think they're going to try score more goals because now they're meeting a tough opponent after this. So I know for them this is part of that preparation and building confidence into the squad, so that hence when they meet Nigeria, they're really comfortable to explore Nigeria, who have been so lacking behind in the defense.
You've been talking about several substitution and some changes for Ugandan clients. Don't you think also the custodian, goalkeeper, need to be changed?
Well, if you substitute a goalkeeper right now, you'll be wasting good wine. That's what they say. You'll be wasting good wine, because right now you need to look for the goals. Okay. You need to look for chances of coming back. So substituting a goalkeeper would be very useless. I would try as much and have more players coming. For me, if it was me, I would try and bring out Sibic. Kenneth Simakula goes onto my right side of defense. Then I bring Baba Al-Hassan. Or there is Sechiganda Ronald. Sechiganda Ronald, he plays for, that is APR.
Yeah.
He can play in that midfield role together with Khalid Awucho. Okay? For me,
you still think that having Khalid Awucho in a second half will bring an impact?
Yes, he has the power of command. That's the first person I've seen actually holding a Ugandan flag. The one on the switch has not been doing that. He has not been doing his job. That's the first time I've seen someone with a Ugandan flag. But anyway, you need Khalid Awucho in this game. He commands. He's an organizer of the team. So I think you still need that kind of voice in there. That's Geoffrey Massa there, one of the Uganda's leading all-time goal scorer. That's the assistant coach of Uganda Cranes. So, yeah.
That's a good thing of having Peter Otay right here. But at the end of the day, Haji, Peter has already give us his sight on who.
Oh, that's Travis Mutiaba, the shot number 10.
Is coming in.
I would really want him. He's a ball carrier. He's short, but he's just like Messi. He carries the ball. He draws opponents to him and then creates the space.
So you think the video guys for Tunisia, they might be telling the coach what to do? And what do you think the message that went to Tunisian coach for him to come in a second half?
I think what they would have advised is to explore the Aziz side, who has been very clumsy with his tackles, very reckless. Even when you see the second goal,
soka bado ni mapema mno. Ya warm up ya hapa na pale kabla kuja Mabadiliko kipindi hiki cha pili. Mutiaba naandaliwa kuingia. Wachezaji wawili wanakwenda nje. Dennis Omedi, bila kumsahau Travis Mutiaba kutoka Club Sportif Sfaxien, miongoni mwa vijana ambao wamekuzwa katika soka la Uganda, na kwa sasa anapaswa kwenda kuiokoa Uganda katika nyakati hizi ambazo ipo nyuma kwenye mabao.
Teams coming back out, the referees too, and there are going to be some changes as well before the second half can get underway. Unsurprisingly, Uganda making more than the side that are leading. Dennis Omedi, one of those coming on, and it hasn't quite worked out for Melvin Lorenzen, who is off. Travis Mutiaba as well coming on, and Jude Semugabi, who flitted in and out of the game, replaced Mutiaba, an attacking midfielder who plays his football in Tunisia. And as for Tunisia, well, Firaz Shawa, a striker with Club Africain, one of the big teams back home in Tunisia, is on the 29-year-old. And we are back underway. And the rain, while still coming down, is far lighter than it was throughout that first half. Mato has been felled. And Uganda need a swift start. A combination of Sassi and their goal scorer Ashuri, bringing down the Ugandan. Confirmation of the substitutes in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Hazem Masturi, the man being replaced. Unclear if that's an injury or just a bit of game management. Mutiaba with an early delivery. Headed away by Ashuri. Mejbri. Out thought for once by Kayondo. And then Saad breaks it up, and Mejbri with a little bit of space on the right-hand side. Sassi is free in the middle, but he tries to play it back into Saad. And Sibic, well, the ball just held up in the water, not once but twice. Saad, Valerie, deep cross clipped in, and the first touch for Dennis Omedi. And not the best either. Saad with time and space to make it 3 for Tunisia. Well, they cannot get it away at times, Uganda, but eventually Salim comes out to smother the danger. Well, he was well closed down. 3 Cranes players there. Just for a moment, it looked like might wriggle in Tunisia's favour. Well, Omedi, who's come on, top scored for Uganda in the Nations Cup qualifiers, admittedly only with 2 goals. One of them, a stunning long-range strike against South Africa. I was talking earlier about the goal from Rogers Mato in that game in Johannesburg just over 12 months or so ago. Omedi's effort was equally fine. They need something to build on in this game, Uganda. But they found it hard going in the opening period. Valerie. Sassi. Just too close confines in which to work. Oh, good hunger from Tunisia. Sassy. Ashuri, who scored that stunning second for Tunisia. He does well to nick it off Kayondo, and that's surely going to be a corner to the Tunisians, and is. Well, they've showed some really good hunger in this game, Tunisia, and that's often been, or sometimes, I should say, been an accusation against the team from their fans. Mejbri again just whipping up the crowd as he comes over to the main stand to take the set piece. And it was from a delivery like this that they open the scoring through Skiri early on. Well, that's too deep and goes over the head of Elias Skiri. Mato down again, and instantly the referee reaching for his notebook and for his yellow card. And Sad is the first Tunisian player to be cautioned in this game. Kayondo having picked one up early in the first half for Uganda. Here he is, Aziz Kayondo. Mutiaba, who we just saw on screen, plays for CS Sfaxien, one of the biggest clubs in Tunisia. And the 20-year-old is now tasked with biting the hand that feeds him. If he can get the opportunities. Mejbri charging forward for Tunisia, trying to find the substitute Shawat. Heavily involved, Mejbri, in this encounter. And showing good determination again to win that back. Skiri. Olays from the Tunisian supporters who are enjoying this, particularly those over on the open stadium now that the rain has considerably eased, if not entirely stopped. Mejbri, nice footwork from him and clipped by Kayondo. Well, he has been all action, Hannibal Mejbri, the former France youth international, is talking about his deep desire and love of representing Tunisia in the run-up to this game. Well, Mutiaba, as you can see, just the left foot of Bron going on the metatarsal area of the Ugandan. There's Paul Putt, the Belgian coach. He's never won an opening game at the Africa Cup of Nations, and that's a record that looks like continuing this, his fourth appearance at the tournament. As I said earlier, he led Burkina Faso to the final in 2013. That was his first ever Nations Cup. There was a fairly ignominious follow-up 2 years later when they exited in the group stage, the Stallions. But then in 2019, he took Guinea into the round of 16. Just one victory in the group could well be enough for him to take a third side into the knockout phase. Well, among those on the bench for Uganda is Alan Okello, who I think some, if not many, Cranes fans would have been surprised not to see in the starting lineup Possibly he has an injury. He was a key man in qualifying for both the Africa Cup of Nations and for the World Cup. 3 goals and 4 assists in the World Cup qualifiers. 3 assists in the Nations Cup qualifying campaign, but he is not on the pitch as of yet. Mutiaba is back on. And Tunisia will make a change, and El Assad, the Augsburg midfielder, his race is run. Mohammed Ali Ben Romdan, who plays his football with Egyptian giants Al Ali, the most successful club in African club football, is on. As it comes into Mutiaba, trying to twist and turn and get a shot away, unable to do so. Mesri, well, that's just going to go out. Well, Ben Romdan is not going to make life much easier for Uganda. He's got 4 goals this year, including the one that took the Carthage Eagles to the World Cup, when scoring very late on against Equatorial Guinea in September. A stoppage time strike it was, as it secured Tunisia's return to the World Cup. They beat France 1-0 in Qatar 4 years ago. 3 years ago, excuse me. What can they do when the tournament takes place in the United States, Canada and Mexico in just over 6 months' time? Mutiaba outswinger goes in deep, headed forward, and they're claiming handball here, the Ugandans. And we'll have to see on the replays how credible a claim that is. Well, Sibic just puts that out of touch, and well, they're still complaining to the referee, and he's just holding up the play. Let's have a look at this. Well, it certainly brushed the arm of the man who's just come on, Ben Romdan. But they are happy that his arm was not in an unnatural position. It was by his side, the substitute. And a quick decision taken by the officiating crew. Valerie unfairly impeded the 26-year-old. Sandwiched between 2 Cranes players. Forward to Shawat, who cannot win the header. Sassi charging forward for Tunisia. And just runs into John Obita. Kayondo. Well, a heavy touch from Kayondo, but he wins the free kick. Semakula. That's a clear foul. And push in the back, and Ahmedi apologises as well to it. Ali Abdi jumping in the air, or just about to when the challenge came in. Valerie, that's loose. Is this an opportunity? Makwala, well it was. He just couldn't take it, Stephen Makwala. Well, they have not had many sighters. The Tunisia goal, and he had options as well to the right of him. He did not hesitate to pull the trigger, the Simba player. Well, that was well wide of the mark. It was a smart turn by Semakula, but it was a poor pass. And Tunisia have it back. Skiri, who got us underway, switch of play, looking for his fellow goalscorer, Ashuri. Mato, fouled by Valerie. Not that he agrees with it. Well, this is the third meeting between these two sides of the Africa Cup of Nations. They last met in 1978, which was a special year for both sides. Uganda reached the Nations Cup final that year for the one and only time in their history. They were beaten by Ghana, hosts of the tournament. Tunisia, meanwhile, well, they beat Mexico at the 1978 World Cup that year, and that was a historic moment, given it was the first time any African side had ever won a game at the World Cup. For the record, when they met in 1978, Tunisia won by 3-1. Both sides went on to reach the semi-finals. Unlikely for a repeat this year, but you never know. Valerie into Skiri, and Skiri into traffic. Abdi. Mejbri spent a lot of time on the floor in his desire to get his side going forward. Obita. Semakula. Mato. Round the corner looking for Kayondo, who's got far forward, the fullback. They'll have to build again